This is from the website, thewaythetruthandthelife.net.
All right, we're going to take a phone call now. Donald in Russia. Aloha, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Well, this terrorism stuff, there's some links I'd like to share with you.
Okay.
The things going on in South America, and I'd like to link that back to the Conquistadors and a two-class society, Mexico, Latin America, left over. But actually the Conquistadors that set up that two-tier culture, which, by the way, the liberation theology, this Pope is actually very much aware of that.
Yeah.
I learned about that from some nuns back in 1980. But at any rate, what I wanted to get to, you mentioned the Inquisition.
Yes.
And actually, I was surprised to find out that in the 700 years that the Muslims ruled Spain, actually the Jewish were their enforcers and collectors.
Yes.
And bookkeepers.
Yes.
And many were rescued by the Turkish Caliphate and were in Turkey. Their what do you call it? Children. Mm-hmm. Until Israel was established. But it just the cultural thing there. What I was terribly shocked about 2 weeks ago, because looking at Mohammad learned what he learned of the people of the book. He was a camel caravan driver for Jewish merchants and had quite a nice reputation, but they would stop for the evening at an oasis, and
yes.
Muhammad was from a storytelling culture. That's actually quite it's degraded to say people are illiterate, but the Roma, or what we call gypsies in America,
yeah,
had a culture for 1,000 years, riding around and just storytelling.
Yes.
And that's the background of Muhammad. Well, they would sit, and he learned the Torah from the Jewish merchants that he was driving caravans for. And I was terribly shocked to learn that in Numbers chapter 8 is where he learned to kill them all but keep the virgins. That was what Moses told them when they had killed all the adult male Midianites, and they had the children and the women, and Moses told them, kill them all, the boys and all the women that have been with a man. And that's where Muhammad learned you can, for your God, you can kill the non-believers, but you can keep the virgins for yourself. And it just makes me so sad. I've been a faithful Christian, and I still am. It was a priesthood that had Christ killed. So that he stood up.
Well, no. It was the Romans who killed Christ because he attempted to foment a revolution.
I understand, but it was the priest that took him to the...
they were certainly happy to see him go. There's no question about that. Yeah.
But the idea is, and I'm so, when you go back studying the background, I'm so, the archetype of Abraham, if you really look at it, he worshiped the Most High unseen God rather than some object. And the big thing is he was the archetype for not sacrificing your babies.
Yep.
And set up his special people who didn't kill their babies. If you look at the history of infanticide, it's part of the human nature, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Throw them off the cliff, put them in the river, leave them out for the animals or whatever. But Abraham started the special people who didn't sacrifice their children.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. You have to pardon me. I've about spilled all my beans, except the thing with the Jewish, with the indoctrination that they have, it deprives the children of a kind of common sense. So many Jewish have done so much good in trying to have a revolution, like in Russia.
Yeah.
That was a large part Jewish. I was surprised to learn from one of my ex-students in Buffalo that the Jewish who were and the women's liberation was a big part of the communist revolution too. It freed the women, but the Jewish were so much involved. They were recruiting Jewish, and even the Jewish, what do you call it, like mafia in America, were being recruited. Now, this I could another time. I don't have the references for this, but it was in the Buffalo Evening News that they were recruiting the Jewish thugs for some reason I don't understand. But they said, "Oh, we can't come. We don't speak Russian." And the Jewish that were recruiting them said, "Well, you don't have to worry. We all speak. What is it that the Jewish the language?
Hebrew.
Forgive me. Pardon?
Hebrew.
No, not Hebrew. What they speak in Europe.
Yiddish.
Yes. You don't have to worry, you speak British now. I just learned that this morning. He's a friend now. I'm going on. It was years ago. I had him in high school, but at any rate, he calls and he shared that this morning. But the thing is, I'm not trying to degrade the Jewish as a race or something like that, but the effect of this culture, and that they have been used to dominate. Many of the Jews that escaped the Inquisition went to northern Germany.
Yeah.
They served the German lords the same way they did the Muslims. The German lords wouldn't let the serfs learn to read or write even, but they didn't want their children to be doctors, getting their hands dirty and then getting infection with people. The Jewish were the doctors, the bookkeepers for the aristocrats. At any rate, it is kind of just logical. The thing that it seems to me, it's unfortunate with all this memorization of the Torah. Book learning is fine, but there's nothing like getting out and building pig pens and chicken coops and having common sense, you know. And
yes.
Many of these revolutionaries, they lack some intuition because they've had this, you know, childhood indoctrination that deprived them of something. That's what it seems to me. At any rate, that's my thoughts. Thank you for letting me share them.
Okay, well, thank you for your call, and we're going to let you go here and get on back to the news. Okay.
Oh, one more thing.
Okay.
Trump in South America, he's going in with this upper class, and it really those conquistadors, the Visigoth lords that took over, converted to Catholicism from home church Gothic.
Yep.
And they to keep their power, they gave the title and their land to their eldest son, and their other sons became priests and army officers, the upper class, you know.
Yep.
But they treated the lower class the same way the Muslims had treated the Christians. The Christians had.
Okay, Donald, we got to let you go. Donald, we got to let you go. Got to take a break for commercials. Thank you for the phone call. We'll be right back.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, Independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
Well, they're stealing down on Wall Street and in Washington, too. You know, it makes me wonder, what's a guy on Main Street to do? I've always tried to be an honest, upstanding kind of guy. But I must admit lately, I thought about giving something else a try. Oh, I want to be a pirate. I want to sail the seven seas, yeah, I want to be a pirate.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show here. And getting on back to the international news here. Russia has secured a 50-year deal to use part of the seaport of Tartus in Syria. And apparently the deal goes into effect basically in a week. It's going to be used for economic use and transport, but also obviously Russia will have military ships there. So in 2017, Russia and Syria signed the agreement on the deployment of the logistical center of the Russian Navy for 49 years in Tartus. And apparently, Deputy Prime Minister Yuri Borisov says it'll be a serious boost for mutual trade as well. Trade is a good thing.
This is the ending message. This is the website, The Way, the Truth, and the Life. These are the guest rooms in our 3 homes, New York, Florida, and Russia. They are prepared for those messengers that Jesus prayed for in Luke chapter 10. And he gave them the instructions. Reading from Luke chapter 10, verse 1. After these things the Lord appointed 70 other also, and sent them 2 by 2 before his face into every city and place whither he himself would come. As Jesus said in Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am with them. Verse 2, therefore he said unto them, the harvest is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he would send forth laborers into the harvest. This is Jesus praying for more servants and asking us to do the same. Verse 3, go your ways. Behold, I send you forth as lambs among wolves. Verse 4, carry neither purse nor scrip, nor shoes, and salute no man on the way. Verse 5, and into whatsoever house ye enter, first say, peace be to this house. Verse 6, and if the Son of Peace be there, your peace shall rest upon it. If not, it shall return unto you again. Verse 7, and in the same house remain, eating and drinking such things as they give, for the laborer is worthy of his hire. Go not from house to house. Verse 8, and into whatsoever city ye enter, and they receive you, eat such things as they set before you. Verse 9, and heal the sick that are therein, and say to them, the kingdom of God has come nigh unto you. Verse 10, but into whatsoever city ye enter, and they receive you not, go your way out into the streets of the same, and say, verse 11, even the very dust of your city, which cleaves on us, we wipe off against you. Notwithstanding, be ye sure of this, that the kingdom of God has come nigh unto you. Verse 12, but I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable in that day for Sodom than for that city. In closing, remember Matthew 18, verse 20, where Jesus said, for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them.